Welcome to the Transform My Dance Studio podcast, the only podcast for dance studio owners, where each week we bring you business growth strategies to help you increase your profits, impact the lives of more students, while ensuring you get back some time to have a little life outside of the studio. It's time for you to become the go-to studio in your area. Now, here's your host, founder of the Dance Studio Owners Association, Clint Salter.
Hey Dance Studio owners, it's Clint. I hope you are having a fantastic start to the week, or whenever you're listening to this. I hope you're having a great day. Now, look, I've got something really special for you for this week's podcast. I'm sharing with you something that I've not shared before, and it's behind the scenes from one of my live events from last year, Dance Studio Ignite, that I ran. And this specific section of the day that I'm going to share with you is about adding additional revenue streams in your studio. Now, I'm going to be giving you, in this live recording from my event, some tips that you never knew that you needed on how you can increase your profit from your group classes, private lessons, costumes, merchandise, workshops, birthday parties, venue hire, and a whole lot more. I'm going to tell you how to make money from those things. I take you deep into these revenue streams to help you find out, first of all, if they're right for you, and if so, how you can implement them into your studio for the least amount of hassle and a lot more profit. So enjoy this very special podcast episode where I'm taking you inside my live event from Dance Studio Ignite last year. Enjoy it. Okay, so we're going to start today. The first thing we're going to talk about is, if you've ever been at any of my events or presentations that I've done before, I get the, not the boring stuff, but I get the stuff out of the way really early. So in the afternoon, when you've had carbs for lunch and you want to fall asleep, I'm going to bring you up with some cool stuff you're going to want to know. But you've all had about 10 coffees. So let's start with additional revenue streams, because I think in our studio, a lot of the time we think to ourselves, I do group classes. Hands up, who does group classes? Awesome. So you have kids in a group that dance, group classes. Okay, cool. So a lot of us make our money from group classes, right? That's awesome. But what we don't realize is that there's other ways we can make money in our studio. And so we're going to run through them. I'm going to talk about them. I also want you to ask me some questions as we go. Because just talking for 8 hours, I can definitely do it. I promise you I can do it. But I think you're going to be kind of over it by the end of the day. So interaction is always really good. So there are a lot of income streams in your business. We're going to run through the 11. And here they are, just briefly. But let's kind of go through them. So you've got group. We've done hands up for that. Who does private lessons in their dance studio? Who is a studio owner that teaches their private lessons? You're like, what? I thought that's good because I get cash in an envelope and I get to go out for dinner. No. Uniforms and merchandise. Who does uniforms? Awesome. Who does limited edition merchandise in their studio? Yeah, you're like, oh yeah, I remember that. Who has a shop? Look, you're not going to make $1 million and move to an island selling twisties, but who has a shop? People are like, yeah, money from a shop? Yeah, a little bit, but it's still good to offer. It's more around their retention than living with Richard Branson. Number 5, workshops and camps. Who runs summer camps, workshops? Awesome, great, couple of people. Oh, sorry about that. They're pretty though, aren't they? I get really click happy on the clicker. Okay, cool. So let's go, no, we won't go through them again. And so we've got shop, number 5, workshops we talked about. Who does venue hire? Who owns their venue and does venue hire, or leases it but does venue hire? Okay, awesome. In our studio, if you're leasing it, you know that we have a lot of white space, right? Generally during the day, we want to fill that. So I'm going to talk about how we can fill that today. Birthday parties, yeah! Who gets excited about cleaning up all that stuff after a birthday party? Who does birthday parties? Okay. Oh, good. Back table. All up for birthday parties. Costumes. Who makes money? Not who does costumes. Hello. Who makes money from their costumes? Exams. Who runs exams? Great. Concert and recitals. Who makes money from their concerts and recitals? We all should be making money. Who does sponsorships of concerts? Good, Marguerite. Okay, we'll talk more about that. And online products. Has anyone got that sits next to their studio, maybe a monthly recurring, a VIP program or anything like that? Good. Great. Good, great, as in like we're going to learn something today when no one puts their hand up. Private lessons. These are great. The one thing I want to say about privates is, as the studio owner, it isn't the best use of your time. And what I always get all the time is, but the kids want me, but they won't have anyone else. And it's only because you've planted that thought into their head. If you, in a second, I'm pretty direct, tell it how it is. If you're actually teaching the private lessons, I want you to transition out of that. I don't care how long it takes you, but you need to transition out of that. You can go in and do like team teach, occasionally a private. You can do spot checks with private. There is no excuse, if you have the right teachers in place to take your privates, that your business will suffer because you're not in there. That is not the best use of your time. That isn't what I talked last week about your zone of genius. Your zone of genius is not teaching private lessons. Okay? Your zone of genius is maybe motivating the team, training your team of teachers. That could be your zone of genius. It could be marketing. It could be putting on amazing shows, being creative, putting productions together. It is not teaching one kid in a class for half an hour how to do good ship lollipop. And so we're going to talk... Joe, you had a question around that.
Just really quickly, what if you're hiring space and then you hire a teacher and then there's no point in paying private lessons because by the time you're done, you actually have no profit margin?
Sure. So it's changing the way that you think about that activity. So how I would do that is, what does that private lesson provide the child with? So there might be I'm pretty sure there's a retention element in that. So let's say you break even on that private, okay? You then have to think to yourself, in that half an hour, what am I doing with my time that is going to generate 10 times the profit of that private lesson? So what I would replace that with is, if I work on an advertising campaign for half an hour that's going to generate me maybe 5 new enrollments, that's worth the private lesson happening. You also need to look at fee structures of privates. We don't have time to jump into how we structure our privates, but obviously there's a couple of different ways you can do it. You can get the teacher to pay, the student to pay the teacher. I don't really like doing that way. You can get the teacher to hire the venue from you for an agreed amount. You can get the student to pay you and then you pay the teacher. There's a couple of ways you can do it, but I just want you to really, today is about valuing your time. If there's one thing that you get out of today's presentation, is, as the studio owner, you need to actually start being the studio owner. Yet not the teacher, not teaching every class. Yeah, you can still do a bit of teaching, but not 40 hours of teaching and not like 20 private lessons. Uniforms and merchandise. I love uniforms and I love merchandise. Why? Because so many reasons. The top reason, we go, extra revenue, amazing, right? We love making money from merchandise and uniforms. Why? Because we don't have to market to anyone else, right? It's not like we've got a new product that we have to market over here to people that don't know about us. These kids know us and they love us. The great thing about uniform is it creates community. Right? Whether we think of it, we think of it up front, unconsciously it does. Why do schools have uniform? Not to they do make money off it, but the reason schools have uniform is to create community within the students and within their classes. And so uniform is really important, and you need to be, making money. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. One of my favorite ideas here, though, is limited edition merchandise. And it is I just love it. And so the way that we kind of work this is that you would have maybe 4 pieces a year that are limited edition. And so you pick 4 things. It could be, I'll never forget, I went to judge a competition about 2 years ago, and this studio walked in all in these amazing, vibrant blue onesies, right? And I was like, oh my God, that's genius. They all had to get one. They were $90, cost them $40 to make them. Because I went up to the teacher and obviously asked, because I was like, oh my God, this is great. All in onesies, and they looked amazing. They were so vibrant all day because it was the first time they were allowed to wear them as well, all in a group at a competition. Hello, genius, so clever. But that was a limited edition. And so 4 pieces. So it might be, a onesie. It might be, we had a studio last year that did the mesh kind of singlets,
numbers on the back in metallic. They did a limited edition. So what I say with limited edition is you tease them, you do an email marketing campaign, which we'll talk about this afternoon, but you kind of tease them with like something's coming. You then show them in an email some sketches of what that limited edition merchandise is. You then say, you have a week to get these. During that week, all the teachers are wearing them, so the kids are like, oh my God, this is amazing. We've got to have one of those. And then at the end of the week, you close orders, and that's it. They're done. It's short, sharp, it's highly effective, and you create a need it now mentality with all your students and parents. Also, the markup generally is really good because it's priced at a premium. It's not a normal uniform that they would have. It's just that kind of one-time uniform that they can buy just then, and they never see it again. Like, that's it. You miss out, you miss out. I've given you plenty of notice. So I'm a big fan of limited edition merchandise. And then you've got your core stuff. So in your bags today, just want to show you, Capezio gave you like tights and a whole lot of stuff. Everyone here also gets 50% off a pair of Capezio shoes. So if you're looking for a new pair of shoes, they'll give you half-price shoes. Jump on, use the code. But also they do a lot of uniforming for studios as well. So providing, you know, leotards and tights and that type of thing. And depending on your studio, you might be able to actually get them as a wholesaler and on-sell them to your studios to make some money from your uniform. So definitely check out the information that they gave you in your bag and reach out to them. They're such a great team. I've worked with them since I had Dance Life, and I love them. So that's kind of again on the limited range. We've had people that have done like those like really friendly, environmentally friendly drink bottles, like with the silver, with the logo, and like a quote. Oh my God, like who doesn't love an inspirational quote? And so you can do that as well. Like I said, it's not going to send you to an island, but hey, have some healthy snacks at your studio if you can. Make sure you stock and sell water. They're just the little things that, like I said, not going to give you $1 million, can't buy that nice property, you know, on the beach. But it also is a nice, essentially a nice retention thing to do as well. Have stuff there. You know, I'm a big fan of having a wow budget, which is around having a budget for retention exercises for your students. And so what I would say to you is with this, like maybe one day you like walk in and you're like, hey guys, I'm grabbing coffee for everyone that's in the waiting room at the moment, right? So it's like little things that you do around food and beverages that look after people. You know, there's cookies, there's so many cool things that you can do around that. We'll talk a little bit about retention today. Workshops. So this is always one that confuses people because there's a lot of different workshops that you can run in your studio. I'm going to run through the different ones. So an internal, once-off internal teacher workshop. So maybe this is like, who does exams again? Remind me who does exams. Okay, cool. So for instance, let's say like you kids, you walked in to see your kids and they're about to do exams in like a month and you're like totally freaking out because like they're not very good. And so they're not like up to scratch. So you're like, okay, we've got to run a workshop like for these guys to like really kind of get them to where they need to be. So an example of that would be this. You would do a once-off internal teacher workshop. And with workshops, there's two ways to treat them, for profit or for retention. That's it. There's only two ways to look at workshops. Do we want to make money from this workshop? Can we make money from it? Or do we actually want to do this as a retention exercise? Is this going to help us keep these students happy, motivated? Is it going to help us to improve their training? So that's one. That's a pretty simple one. You've got your internal once-off guest teacher workshop. So this is where you would invite a teacher into your studio and they will teach your inside community. So people that are already members of your dance studio. I love this one for retention. I'm in love with this one and like not telling them who it is. So again, marketing, we have to market everything we do. Guys, if you're parents, you know that you market everything that you do to your child, right? Come on, broccoli, it's good for, you know, you can have the chocolate after the broccoli, you know. We're always kind of like, you know, selling and I wasn't going to say bribing, but yeah, we bribe. And so with this, what I love is saying maybe a week out, hey guys, next Thursday, we have an amazing guest teacher coming in to teach XYZ classes. And during the week, you do a build-up campaign. You're on social media talking about it. You've got like a face where it's all like pixelated and blurred out so they can't see who it is. And so you're building this anticipation for this workshop. And then they do the workshop with the amazing person. You pay for it. It's okay. It comes out of the retention budget. You pay for it. The mileage you would get out of that exercise is insane. Think about social media. You might say to the person, which I would do, is the artist that's coming along. The teacher is saying, during the following week, I want you to do 3 posts on social media tagging my dance studio with our kids. You've got to build that stuff into contracts these days. Yeah, because you want to, and you'll hear me say this 100 times today, I'm so sorry, leverage the opportunity. Right? We want to leverage everything that we do in our business. So that's a really great idea, and is actually like really one of my favorites when it comes to retention. Multiple day internal teacher workshops. So again, you could get a whole group of teachers to come in. Maybe it's in the school holidays. You're only running it for your core group of students though. You bring like 3 teachers in. They might teach like over 2 days, different age groups. You would make money from this one. This is a for-profit. It's too much. It would create too much of a dent in your expenses if you were to take these on. But this is very much a for-profit. I like this one because it helps with retention as well. You've just got to make sure with any summer camp, with any workshop that you run, is that you market it, right? And this is the big takeaway from today, already so many, is that you've got to market everything that you do. You can't just like put a poster up and say, hey guys, we're all going to Sound of Music. We're all getting on a bus and going for a good night out. And like, here's a poster, and then say, oh, but no one registered. I was like, you put up a poster. I mean, back in the day though, that used to work, right? We used to be able to do that. Not anymore. Consumers, our customers are bombarded with so many messages every single day, and it's not helpful. Right? So what we need to do is make sure we get them from different points. We need to be doing email marketing. Hopefully we've all got close Facebook groups set up, to cultivate our community. We need to be kind of not attacking. We need to be communicating with them from every single angle possible with all of these things. So this would be for profit. One of the great ones though is a multiple guest teacher workshop that you run in the school holidays that's not branded under your banner. Okay, so to give you an example of this is an acquisition exercise as well as a for-profit exercise, but you would run explosion dance workshops, right? Don't use that name because it's pretty naff. But you would run explosion dance workshops. And what you would do is you wouldn't have like your logo slapped everywhere over it. It's presented by you guys, but it's actually about the artists and the teachers that are coming into your studio to teach that workshop. The great thing about this is you will make revenue from it, but you also will potentially attract other people in the local community that might want to come along and try dance. It's a great exercise because, as we know, recreational classes are our bread and butter in our dance studios. Well, they should be. And so we want to attract more rec kids into our dance class. This is a great way to do it, by bringing some great people in, running some for fun workshops, not like super competitive, like, leg up against the ear on the poster, like I say, scary as Stedford face. We don't want to be seeing that on the poster. We want fun. We want kids to go, wow, that place looks so fun. Like, Mum, I want to go there for school holidays. That's what we want when we kind of create our marketing message. And we'll talk more about that a little bit later. But I love these. I love these types of workshops because they take a little bit of effort to put together, but you can put them really out there, create a really compelling offering. It's under your umbrella, but it's not all about your dance studio. It's about these students. And so you're going to make revenue and you're going to generate a lot of inquiries into your studio as well. So I think this one is a real win-win. And you just need a couple of those ingredients to kind of line up so that you can get it right. Okay, venue hire. So I think this is something that we don't really think enough of, and we just kind of say, the venue, it's empty. Like, during the day, there's no one in here, it's empty. We'll just wear that cost. But that's a mistake, because there's lots of people out there that want to hire venues to do different things. So just a couple of examples: Pilates, yoga, meditation classes. I want you to think about how involved are you with your local communities. Like how, every local community does like meetings where you can like go and meet other business owners. I'm like totally encouraging you all to make sure that you're doing that, because if you're not, I'm sure there's another dance studio owner in your area that's probably doing it. You need to get in there with your local communities, because they're doing a lot of different stuff. And when you get in there and build the relationship, they will send more opportunities to you, okay? And the other reason is for venue hire. There might be like a local, I don't know if anyone puts their space for hire like on Gumtree. You'll get some dodgies, I'm just letting you know right now. You will get some dodgies on Gumtree, but you'll also get some winners. Okay, people that are actually looking for a space to hire on Gumtree. Local notice boards, like online notice boards. Make sure you're all part of your local community Facebook groups as well. There's so many active groups. And say, hey, we've got a venue. If anyone needs a venue for, everyone's into meditation now. So there's like people that need space for like meditation classes. Your studio is like perfect for that. So start thinking outside of the box when it really comes to a venue hire. Preschools, local schools who actually want to come and do dance, for sport or that type of thing. I don't know if any of you are in that space. They get the bus, they come to your studio, you get your little teacher to teach them a class. They teach, they pay, $10, $5, depending on your area, a class, extra revenue. What is also good about that? Tell me, what is also really great about having those people come to your studio? Yeah, hopefully they're like new student leads. They come to your studio, they're like, wow, this studio is great. Wow, that teacher was amazing. Fantastic. Great opportunity. Bring people into your studio who are your ideal customers, get them loving it, and then get them enrolled. It's really a no-brainer. So definitely want you to be thinking about that. So what you can do around that, here's like a quick take action point, is just create a list of 5 industries you could target and let them know about your studio and that you've got a space available for them that they could come and hire during the day. It's a good one. So other classes to local businesses. One of the things that businesses are really looking for now is how they can re-engage their staff. Okay, how they can re-engage their staff, how they can get them more productive, how they can get them fit and healthy. I mean, everyone's kind of thinking about these things at the moment. And so why not reach out to some local businesses and say, hey, we have a 6-week staff bonding, again, think of a better name, staff bonding program that we run where you come in and each week we do a different dance style with your employees and it's going to promote X, Y, Z. The great thing about this is revenue, yes. Giving more work to your teachers, fantastic. Also, hopefully parents of children coming into your studio as well. So this is another really winning strategy to fill the space, but getting more people into the space to experience what you're about. Birthday parties. Now, people are either like, yeah, or they're like, no. Yeah, and generally because the only time we could do it is a Sunday, and that's my day off. And I am not running around looking like Elsa or Olaf running a birthday party. And I hear your pain. So I want to give you 2 options around the birthday parties. The first one is that you can run them yourself. We've got lots of our members run birthday parties themselves and they get their teachers to run them for them, right? The teachers run the party. So you'd have to put some systems in place, obviously, around, running those parties. You have a couple of core offerings. What I love about parties, again, is revenue, 100%. Further attention, because a lot of your current students will come along to your parties. Fantastic. Third thing I love is more of your ideal students who are not your current students coming into your space, doing a birthday party, walking out with a little bag which has an offer in it that says, come and try our classes for a week. Unlimited week class pass at Jenny's Dance Studio. Jenny is very popular today. And so you want to be able to do that. So there's 3 major benefits of running birthday parties. If you don't like the idea of that really makes me feel sick in my stomach of running a birthday party, talk to your local suppliers that are running birthday parties. So there's lots of birthday party companies and they're looking for other spaces to use. Instead of using their little room or going to someone's house, they want to be able to say, hey, we've actually got this dance studio that we use for our birthday parties and we can go in and do song and dance, karaoke, Frozen musical, whatever. And so that's another option for you. So you have 2 options. Do them yourself is more profitable. It is. And I'm a bit of a control freak, so I like that option better. Or the second option is, essentially it's venue hire. And they pay a cleaning fee on top of that as well. Or you say to them, you have to make sure the studio is clean when you leave. But maybe their clean isn't like your clean. Just be aware of that. It's like partners at home. Their towel on the floor is clean. Towel on the floor for you is not clean. So it's a similar kind of thing. Costumes. So we could spend a whole day on costumes, where to source them over in Bali and China and all that fun stuff. I just want to plant the seed. Because who's sourcing, who does, the trip to Bangkok and gets all this? Anyone do that? Go overseas and... No? Oh, great. 2, 3, okay, it's like people are doing auction, they're putting their hands up now. Okay, and so going over there to do your costumes, if you're super prepared, is great. With anything in our business, we can do so much better if we are prepared for kind of what's coming up. Give me some other things. What are you guys doing for costumes? Just yell them out, not all at the same time. Trick question. Online. China, online, perfect. So you go to your Sedford and you're like, hey, that was our costume. Yep. Hey, we wore that 10 years ago. Yeah, that's good. Anyone do costume hire, where you make them and then you hire them out? Yeah, right. Awesome. Okay, hire is good for revenue as well. And so it's finding the right thing for you. But so often I talk to studio owners and they're like, I think I lose money on costumes, Clint. And I'm like, you probably do if you're saying that to me. And so what you need to really be aware of with costumes is your time as well. Because sometimes I think we go, oh my God, I made $20,000 on costumes. And I'll say, it's great. How much time did you put into that? And they'll go 2 years. I'm like, not so good anymore, is it? And so you just want to make sure with everything that you do in your business, you factor in your time, because it's something that we can't get back. We can't get more of. It just is 24 hours in the day. We all have the same. Beyonce, Obama, they're Americans. Who's an Australian? Me. We all have 24 hours. We all have 24 hours in our day, right? And so the thing is that we really want to make sure that we are valuing every single thing that we do. And I'm a big believer. I know when we did our costumes those first couple of years in the studio, it was a real mess. And then I was like, we really need a system. We need that timeline of when everything's due. And so we did. We started working with teachers earlier. We started giving them deadlines around, you have X amount of money for props. This is your material budget. We went full kind of commando on them and we're like, this is everything. It was very military, but that was the year that we made so much money with our costumes because we were so organised. And so just think about that when it comes to costumes. I just really want to kind of plant the seed. Get clear on your figures. I'm big on the numbers because no business runs well without knowing the numbers in your business. Okay, but I'm creative and I just love dancing and I love children, and that won't last forever, right? That you need to actually get an understanding of those important numbers in your business, your profit and loss, your projections, your cash flow. You've got to understand those numbers so that you can grow and scale it. And it's not difficult. Exams, I just threw this one in. Depending on what syllabus that you're teaching at your studio, some people can make money on exams. Some people bundle them in, at the beginning of the year, they'll be your exam fee, and they bundle it in with a whole lot of stuff that you need for exams, so you can kind of make more of a margin on doing something like that. I'm a big fan of the exam fee or the performance fee, which includes some bonuses and stuff. I love bundling everything in a business because I think you can give so much value to your students and parents by putting packages and things together rather than slicing everything up. So they feel like every week there's the money, the mouth just opens and out pops money. Here's money, all the time to you, right? And as a parent, they don't like feeling that. So we want to make sure we can package as much of what we do together and spread it throughout the year and maybe offer some payment plans. We don't actually get to go into fee structures today. I wish we had time, but we don't. But things like direct debit systems and those types of things, we really want to make sure that we've got happening in our studios. Concert, This used to be like the thing that I looked forward to every year. I loved putting on a show. I love the opportunity though of what a concert can bring. So not only should you be making profit from your ticket sales, obviously, in the way that you bundle them up, and you can do things around like front row ticketing, like for VIP members, where they might, before the concert, they get like in a little room and they can have a glass of champagne. And like we used to do that. Oh my God, that was like, we only had like room for like 30 people, and like they went, and those tickets were like expensive, but they all wanted to be part of that experience, right? So there's different ways you can structure ticket pricing. Sponsorship with local businesses is amazing. So a lot of local businesses are going to love the fact that you're bringing in 100, 800, 2,000 people from their local community into one space. And so they love that. They're like, oh my God, these are like, the dentists will like love you. The cafe, whoever, the hairdresser, the beautician are going to be like, this is a great opportunity. And they'll pay you to be a sponsor, that you can put an ad in your program for them. The other thing that I picked up a couple of years ago when I was over speaking in the US at a dance conference was one of these ladies, crazy lady, right, but just like so clever. She does like a yearbook every year for her studio, and parents actually like get sponsored a page like for their child in the yearbook. Like, so American, right? But they would actually have a page, and they would pay like $150 for that page, but the parent would generally get, some parents paid it themselves, but some parents actually went to the local, hairdresser or whatever and said, hey, do you want to sponsor my child in the yearbook? And it would be like, Susie, sponsored by Jenny's Hair Salon. And there'd be Susie like with the leg against the ear with like all of her trophies from the year, And so that's an option too. She made $60,000 from doing, she's got, how many kids did Robin have? I think she's got about 800 kids. She made $60,000, and she was like, best thing I ever did. I was like, good, go for you. I'm going to go back and tell Australia about this. Because I think that that's an interesting concept as well. Okay, so you can make more money from your concert when you really start thinking about your concert as a business, like your concert as a business. Not just, how many of us just like want to pay rent for the school holidays with our concert? Like a lot of us are like, I just want to cover my rent, Clint, so like I can just like go away for a couple of weeks, up the road or whatever. Not have to kind of freak out that you've got to generate income to pay for rent, because we do have a lot of blank space. Because we follow the school year, we have a lot of blank space, unfortunately, with our studio where we're not getting paid. And online products, so this is a new concept. We're going to see more of this kind of trickling out, so I won't kind of bore you with the details of this. But in terms of an online product, we're looking at maybe creating like a membership that sits next to your general classes. So for instance, in the US, anyone heard of Amazon? I know, it's a crazy question. Amazon Prime, who knows of their Prime program that they have? Where you pay like $100, I think it's $100, used to be less, I think it's $100 now. $100 a year for membership, and they will guarantee that you get your delivery within 24 hours of whatever you purchase. And you get like premium customer support and that type of thing. So it's looking at what you could do in your dance studio, and I already given an example around, you might have like a VIP experience for people to get concert tickets early, or the first 2 rows in the concert for tickets, that's it. Or they might get to do a payment plan for their costumes, or they might get early access to a new uniform, or it's just thinking about what you currently do in your studio that you could package into some type of membership program that they pay a flat fee. So maybe with your enrollment fee, who charges enrollment fees? Most of us, cool. So let's say you've got an enrollment fee of like $30 or $40, that's like the normal enrollment fee, and then you might have the gold enrollment experience, which has those things in it, and that's $100. And this is what you get for that $100. The value has to outweigh the price that they've just paid, but the idea here is volume. Right? So you pack it up, similar to what we've done here today. Some of you are attendees and paid $97 for an attendee ticket. Some of you paid $197 for a VIP ticket. And sure, you get to bring a friend along, you get to sit up the front, there's more value for you in that, but that generates additional revenue for us Okay, so I want you to think about how you could apply that model to your studio. A really, really interesting one, and a couple of people are starting to do it. So just from those kind of 11 revenue streams, don't use group classes, don't use privates, because most of you already have that in place. Just think of two of those things that I just chatted about. Write down 2 things that you could really implement, within the next, I want to say 30 days. Start thinking about getting the kind of the cogs in motion over the next 30 days to really, really get that happening in your studio. So the other thing that I want to say to you is Global Dance Tours, who I love. Who's travelled with them? Anyone travelled with them? So they're supporting us here today. And so Rose, who again I've worked with since I had Dance Life, if you're thinking of going overseas, which can be great for you, because with these guys, if you get enough numbers, you can travel for free. They're going to give you $1,000 for your sponsorship kit. They're great, and you get a free workshop as well. So I'm going to send you an email about this during the week, but you can reach out to them, do a Google search, I'll send you their contact details. And this is if you're thinking about it in the next 12 months to 3 years, because this thing takes a lot of planning, reach out to them, but they do great tours.
Thank you for joining us today. For all the resource links from the show and to receive access to our free dance studio growth training, make sure you visit transformmydancestudio.com.